Live from downtown Port of Spain, this is the TV6 Weekend News.
Good evening and welcome to the TV6 Weekend News. I'm Dominic, Kalipersad. In the headlines, government halts printing of new $100 bills with coat of arms featuring the steel pan. The Prime Minister calls for strong partnerships between fathers and women in her Father's Day message. And West Indies beat Ireland to win T20 series 1-0. First up, just days before the mid-year budget review, a quiet but significant move by the government has hit pause on the printing of new $100 bills bearing the updated coat of arms. The central bank says it's following a request from the new finance minister, leaving questions hanging over the future of the redesigned notes that swapped Columbus's ships for the national steel pan.
Just days before the mid-year review of the budget in the Parliament is set to begin on Wednesday, June 18th, the Central Bank announced that following a request by the Minister of Finance to suspend printing of any new notes with the revised coat of arms until further notice, the Central Bank instructed the contracted banknote printer to cease any work related to the printing, preparation and designing of the 2025 series $100 denomination. The revised coat of arms occurred via the National Emblems of Trinidad and Tobago Regulation Amendment Act 2025, which was approved by both Houses of Parliament in January and was proclaimed by the President on February 25th of this year. The amendment saw the replacement of the images of the three Columbus ships with an image of the national instrument, the steel pan, on the coat of arms. On February 16th, the Central Bank announced that the adjusted coat of arms, the replacement of the ships with the steel pan, has been integrated into the design at no additional cost. The Central Bank also said that at that time, the 2025 series was then scheduled for distribution in September of this year. This was done during the former PNM-led government, which lost the general election on April 28th of this year to the UNC and its coalition of interests. TV6 News sought a comment from opposition MP Stuart Young, who served in and briefly led the cabinet during the former PNM administration. MP Young said, quote, "As a concerned citizen, I would like to know the reason or reasons for this request by the government to the central bank to suspend the printing of the new banknotes. Until we are informed of the reason or reasons, I will reserve comment," end quote. TV6 News also sent a question to Finance Minister Devendranath Thakur to find out if the government will provide an explanation for the suspension of the printing of any new notes with the revised coat of arms during the Parliament's debate of the mid-year review of the budget. Finance Minister Thakur told the TV6 News, quote, "I will advise the nation in due course," end quote. The National Emblems of Trinidad and Tobago Regulation Amendment Act 2025 states that, subject to provisions of the Act, the former coat of arms may be used until the 1st of January 2026 or such later date as the Minister may, by order, prescribe. Jewel Brown, TV6 News.
Flood-hit families in St. Augustine South are getting relief supplies and reassurance from the government. Minister of Rural Development and Local Government Khadija Amin hit the ground over the weekend overseeing emergency response in some of the worst affected areas. Akshta Gulston has that story.
Emergency responders rolled into Spring Village, St. Augustine South on Saturday night, bringing with them more than sirens as relief was on board. Inside were cleaning supplies and food hampers for families hit hard by the recent floods. Minister Khadija Amin visited multiple streets, personally checking in on over 100 families.
Thus far, we have visited 136 families and everyone has received food hampers, cleaning supplies and other relief items.
Many of the affected homes sit along the Caroni River, where overflow triggered widespread flooding.
The national flood relief efforts continue as we were also from the ministry able to deliver stuff to the Caroni East constituency and Chabonas West, which includes the Caroni Village, Ibis Gardens, Kelly Village, Madras and St. Helena. These are the catchment areas along the Caroni River that were affected because of the overflow.
She credited her cabinet colleague, Minister of Works and Infrastructure Jolene John, for proactive work on flood control and said the pumps made a big difference.
I see Ms. Jolene John's action on the ground already yielding fruit. All the areas where there were pumps, the pumps were working, and that in fact saved Bamboo Village.
As for Saturday's relief drive, Minister Means said not a single taxpayer dollar was spent. Everything distributed came from private and corporate sponsors.
We have a number of corporate sponsors. All of these items are not purchased by government. The things we are distributing today is completely given by corporate sponsors and private sponsors. And I'm really touched by families in other parts of my constituency who are not affected but went to the grocery and just bought a whole lot of disinfectants, or they bought a whole lot of brooms. There were families who brought hampers. Sometimes they bought 3 hampers, and it added to our pool. So that allows us to reach out.
The ministry is also tracking issues street by street, passing cases along to other agencies when necessary, and reviewing long-term flood mitigation planning. Aksha Galston, TV6 News.
Less traffic, more buses, and tighter drone rules. Big changes are on the way, promises Transport Minister Eli Zakur, who says it's time to modernize how we move in Trinidad and Tobago. Vishana Pagu has that story.
Major reforms are coming to Trinidad and Tobago's transportation and aviation sectors. That assurance came from Minister of Transport and Civil Aviation, Eli Zakur, during his feature address at AmCham TNT's annual general meeting at the Hilton Trinidad on Friday.
Transportation is not just about a public utility. It is a business enabler. In today's competitive global landscape, the ability to move people and goods efficiently and safely is what separates high-performing economies from stagnant ones.
Zakur said traffic congestion is more than an inconvenience. It's a drag on productivity, mental health, and business costs. Among his proposed solutions, the removal of traffic lights on the east-west corridor highways, increased traffic warden patrols, and greater use of real-time data to manage congestion.
We are taking decisive steps. Enhance collaboration between the Traffic Management Branch and the Traffic Warden Division. Increase presence of traffic wardens in key areas. Real-time data from the National Transport Management Center to give smart, evidence-based interventions. And continued investments in digital systems to streamline road usage and improve flow.
On public transport, Zakur announced the upcoming launch of a PTSC Network Operations Center designed to give commuters live updates on traffic and bus arrivals. The fleet will also expand with new buses and routes to improve access and reliability. Turning to aviation, Zakur said Trinidad and Tobago must be prepared for the safe integration of drones and unmanned aerial vehicles, especially for commercial purposes.
As we modernize ground transport, we must prepare for the integration of drones in the national airspace. Drones and other unmanned aerial vehicles are no longer futuristic. They represent real commercial potential across sectors such as logistics, agriculture, infrastructure monitoring, and public safety.
Under new regulations, all drones weighing over 750 grams and capable of speeds above 40 meters per second must be registered with the Civil Aviation Authority. Consultations with commercial drone operators are underway. Zakur also addressed recent incidents at the Piarco International Airport, revealing that police presence has been ramped up and a permanent police post is being established. He further announced that Trinidad and Tobago is formalizing new air service agreements with Rwanda, the Dominican Republic, Brazil, and Colombia, expanding international travel and trade opportunities. On road safety, Zakur detailed a 3-pronged national strategy focused on education, enforcement, and engineering. He confirmed that a long-awaited review of the National Transportation Policy is ongoing, with updates on the demerit point system expected soon. Vishana Pagu, TV6 News.
Prime Minister Kalipersad says that when fathers lead with love, patience, and wisdom, They nurture more than their families. They help strengthen the moral and social fabric of the entire society. In her Father's Day message, the Prime Minister also noted that for fathers to succeed, they must feel the encouragement, trust and partnership of the women in their lives, and in turn, fathers must uplift, honor and respect the strength, sacrifices and voices of women. She thanked, quote, every father who has answered the call with integrity, love and perseverance, end quote. Still to come, the Yoruba drum shakes the streets of Port of Spain in a celebration that honors history, roots and rhythm. First, this.
For the season of dads, grads, and grooms, Bradford proudly presents the nicest selection of designer handcrafted suits and blazers, all expertly tailored using quality suiting fabrics from the Bradford Gold Collection. Demand the Bradford brand, positively the best fitting pants on earth, and an amazing selection of knitridge, the newest craze in shirts for men. Always remember, wherever you are, Bradford suits you best.
If you could see what the future holds, you'd see that while things change, you've still got it. You are strong, resilient, inspiring, and you won't be defined by time. You'll own every minute of it because you were made for more. Discover how Alive multivitamins by Nature's Way help you age vibrantly.
Welcome to Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
Do enjoy, Stacey. You want some coffee?
Can I have the book?
Perfect then.
That's exactly what we need.
Hey, the pool is this way.
Whatever you're here for, we're here for you. Stay smart at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
Using it for more than 5 years, and if I did not think it was adequate, I would not have recommended it to my daughter. She has been complaining about little bits of pains, and I tell her, say, look, try the Omega XL. And it has been working for her, which I'm really, really glad about.
A man found bound and shot dead in Arima, a chilling discovery that's left residents shaken. At around 9:50 this morning, police officers of the North Division Gang and Narcotics Task Force responded to a report of a shooting near Malabar Extension Road. There they found the body of an unidentified man lying face down, his right hand tied with plastic straps and a charger cord wrapped around his neck. There were abrasions across the body and a gunshot wound in the back of the head. Investigators were told that the body had been dumped there from a vehicle, but no license plate was provided. The district medical officer pronounced the victim dead at the scene, and officers of the Homicide Bureau are continuing investigations. Police are asking anyone with information to contact 800-TIPS. The Yoruba drum echoed through Piccadilly Street in Port of Spain during a festival celebrating heritage and history. More than music, it's a symbol of community and ancestral pride. As Joel Brown reports.
The sounds of the Yoruba drums filled the air at the Emancipation Support Committee's Yoruba Village Square on Piccadilly Street in Port of Spain during a festival meant to celebrate the musical instrument. The committee's executive chair, Zakia Uzoma Wadada, gave a brief history lesson.
Yoruba peoples would have settled right here in Trinidad and Tobago and in Port of Spain. When people talk about East Port of Spain with a little tone, what they don't understand is that they're talking about powerful descendants. People who own and walk with and have a particular power on their head. Yes? So let us give the community a round of applause.
In acknowledging the children who performed on stage at the Yoruba Drum Festival, the executive chair mentioned what she said is an old African proverb at a time when there is a renewed focus on dealing with indiscipline in the nation's schools.
The child that is not welcomed by its village will burn it down to feel its warmth. We're not doing enough to welcome our children. We're talking about putting police in schools, but I wouldn't go there.
Port of Spain South MP Keith Scotland referred to a comment made by the executive chair.
We were speaking about drums in the school. Nothing happens before its time. And if it took 100 years for Pan to reach in the school, where Pan reach, drum will reach. That's all I have to say on that.
MP Scotland had more to say about the reason for the festival.
The Yoruba drum is far more than a musical instrument. It is a sacred vessel of memory. In Yoruba culture, it represented the heartbeat of the Yoruba people. It is a living archive in Trinidad and Tobago of our ancestral heritage and our ancestral inheritance.
In acknowledging the presence of the committee's Director of Regional and Pan-African Affairs, Kafra Kambon, Senior Counsel Scotland gave an anecdote about his wife's advice to him that pride goes before the fall.
When I won the matter the next day in court, I called her. I say, yeah, but pride on a good foundation is not a bad thing. So that is just my little addition. And as a people, we must not be overly proud, but we must have our pride. Because if we do not have our pride, persons will try to take it from us.
Port of Spain Mayor Chinua Alain spoke about the importance of the event in the nation's capital.
This forms part of our celebration for City Month, forms part of our celebration for the anniversary of the restoration of civic and municipal rights to the people of Port of Spain. This year we celebrate 111 years. It's a long time. I think the city of Port of Spain deserves a round of applause.
Among the audience were members of the diplomatic corps from Ghana, Nigeria, Canada, Venezuela and Jamaica, witnessing a community reconnecting with its roots one beat at a time. Julie Brown, TV6 News.
Coming up in sports, West Indies destroy Ireland to win T20 series. And Leah Bertrand just out of medals at NCAA championships. Now this.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800 TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800 TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry. Premier insurance coverage for less.
Design, renovate and repair can be found at Mega Traders Home Improvement Center. It's all here from plumbing supplies, power tools, hand tools. Everything for your home is at Mega Traders. Brooms, door locks, electrical, paint supplies, folding doors, gardening, water hoses, 3D wall panels, toilet sets and much more. Shop, earn points and save. Visit us at our 5,000 square foot store. Mega Traders Limited, 81 Superior Street, San Fernando. Call 652-4438 or visit us online.
So like I have no pain since using Omega XL.
For those who try Omega XL and they say it didn't work, try it again.
Remember, you deserve the best. Choose Omega XL.
Neurologist is a specialist physician who deals with conditions affecting the nervous system. So that includes the brain and the spinal cord and some muscle disorders as well.
Brain health is extremely important, not only for the patient, but for the family, and it affects our social, occupational, and emotional function.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV tonight at 7:30.
To sports now. Trinidad and Tobago's footballers are locked in action with the United States in their opening match of the CONCACAF Gold Cup. The hosts are leading 3-0 in the match, a brace coming from Malik Tillman in the 16th and 41st minutes of play before the USA added a third on the brink of halftime. Coach Dwight York has decided to play a 5-3-2 formation with Isaiah Lee and Kevin Molino leading the attack. The current score in the match is 3-0. West Indies secured a 1-0 series win over Ireland after victory in the third and final T20 at Brady. The Windies slapped 256, batting first before stopping the Irish on 194 for 7. The first two games of the three-match series on Thursday and Saturday were abandoned without a ball being bowled due to heavy rain.
Well, after conditions cleared to allow the third game to go ahead, after Ireland won the toss, the Windies batsmen began to rip through the Irish bowlers. They started well and registered 122 runs after 10.3 overs without Ireland taking a wicket. Through the partnership of Evan Lewis and Shea Hope, Hope smashed to 51 from 27 balls. His knock included 4 fours and 4 sixes. Lewis was more aggressive, hitting 91 off 44 balls.
All of this one down towards the play park side.
Rovman Powell and Shimron Hetmeyer had short stays at the wicket. However, Kessie Carthy struck 49 not out down the order of 22, and Romario Shepherd 19 off 6 as the Windies cracked 256 for 5, their second highest T20 score. Ireland got off to a bad start in reply as they lost to captain Paul Stirling in the second over after just 13 runs. They failed to get close, with Akil Hussain claiming 3 wickets. Ross Adair and Harry Tector steadied the ship with a partnership of 101 in 58 balls before the latter departed as the hosts lost a second player inside the first 10 overs. Adair and Lorcan Tucker were taken by Hussain in the 11th over, and the wickets continued to tumble as George Dockrell, Tim Tector and Barry McCarthy were all gone before the 16th over. With the result beyond doubt, at that stage, Ireland were restricted to 197 for 7 from 20 overs. West Indies winning the match by 62 runs. They take the series 1-0. Sergio Dufour, TV6 Sport.
Star batter Steve Smith has avoided surgery after suffering a gruesome compound dislocation, but is almost certain to miss Australia's first test against the West Indies. Smith's unavailability for the upcoming 3-match series in the Caribbean, starting in Barbados on June 25th, remains in major doubt. In a major blow for Australia, Smith hurt his right little finger in a crucial moment of the Lord's decider on Friday. Smith didn't field on Saturday as South Africa pulled off a landmark upset. Smith's misfortune could give out-of-form teammate Marnus reprieve. TNT's Leah Bertrand ran a good race, but she was outgunned in the final of the women's 100 meters at the National Collegiate Athletic Association Outdoor Championships in Oregon. Bertrand clocked a time of 11.21 seconds. The race was won by Samira Moody in 11.14 seconds.
Great start for God Bless again, but also for Ford. And down lane 3, Samira Moody of USC going well, but here comes Janicia Ford, and she's going to be very close. I think it could be Moody. It could be Moody. It's right there at the line.
Meantime, she placed 4th in the 200 meters in a time of 22.6 seconds. South Carolina's Jamicia Ford won in 22.21 seconds.
Set. Pretty even so far now. Jamicia Ford starting to make it the stagger on Jasmine Montgomery to her outside. Ford comes off the turn first, but here comes Madison White. Madison White is right there for USC. Jamicia Ford, Madison White is going to be close. Like the 100, but this time Jamicia Ford is the one that leans out the Trojan. Madison White to her inside.
Over to the Diamond League, Julian Alfred seems to be getting better by the day. She sprinted to gold at the Stockholm Diamond League in 10.75 seconds. is just 3 days after clocking 10.89 to win in Oslo. Her training partner, Great Britain's Dinah Asher-Smith, finished second in a season-best 10.93. Côte d'Ivoire's Marie-Josée Toulouse-Smith claimed third in 11 seconds flat.
In Alfred, the Olympic champion over 100 metres. Look at Julian Alfred. Dinah Asher-Smith trying to chase her, but it's the Olympic champion who comes away to take the win. 10.75! That's quick!
Ooh, we'll check on the weather next.
Whether it's a quick meal with Rainbow Foods corned beef and tasty baked beans and tomato sauce, a delicious kidney bean combination, or pasta galore, there's a Rainbow for you. Make magic with our mackerel. Cook up delightful dishes with our pigeon peas, chickpeas, mixed vegetables, and instant coconut milk. Rainbow's milks and sugars are perfect for desserts, cakes, and teas, and you will just love all our corned meats and rice. Rainbow Foods, excellent quality, reasonably priced, at leading supermarkets nationwide.
With Alive multivitamins by Nature's Way, you won't be defined by time. You'll own every minute of it. Discover how you can age vibrantly with Alive.
I'm looking for a magic for this disaster of a war.
You need a master plan.
A what?
Kaleidoscope Weather Master Exterior Latex Emulsion. It stands up to our wicked sun and crazy rain. It shields against fading, protects against mildew, and is crack resistant. This paint so tough that it is tried and tested against British standards and formulated with European raw material.
Kaleidoscope Weathermaster Exterior Latex Emulsion, the premium outdoor paint that protects and shields against fading. Available at hardware and Kaleidoscope color shops nationwide.
Celebrity Health Secrets with Giselle Laurent.
I have found that together with exercising, getting enough sleep, and a diet rich in omega-3s can definitely help you live a healthier and happier life. Omega XL provides pure, powerful, potent care.
Not bad weather for Father's Day. Hope all dads enjoyed it. Let's look ahead. Currently, conditions are generally fair, hazy, and breezy, despite brisk, isolated showers. Looking ahead to tomorrow, expect sunny, slightly hazy and breezy conditions, interrupted by few brief showers, and a fair night. Temperatures are expected to reach highs of 32 degrees Celsius in Trinidad and 31 degrees in Tobago. Now to some of the stories making international headlines.
Iran launches waves of missiles at Israel, hitting the north and centre of the country. The emergency services say at least 10 people have been killed, with many more injured. Meanwhile, in the latest Israeli strikes on Iran, Tehran says an oil depot in the capital was hit. President Donald Trump has hosted a military parade, the largest in decades in Washington, D.C., marking 250 years of the U.S. Army. At the same time, tens of thousands joined demonstrations against the president. There were some clashes in downtown Los Angeles, where authorities fired tear gas. And police in the U.S. state of Minnesota are hunting for a gunman who shot dead a Democratic Party politician and her husband in what's being described as a politically motivated assassination. Earlier, he shot and wounded another senior Democrat and his wife.
In the region, St. Lucia's tourism minister reports that the Prime Minister's recent initiative to reduce airport taxes must be carefully monitored. If the reduction is not sufficient, it may fail to motivate travellers, thereby limiting its effectiveness.
Tourism Minister Honourable Ernest Hilaire responded to the Prime Minister's announcement of a reduction in airport tax. He explained that the reduction was intended to make regional travel more attractive. However, he emphasized the need to observe how the initiative unfolds to determine its impact.
Because there is the whole elasticity of the price change. If you don't bring it down enough, it might not spur people to travel. In other words, if St. Lucia to Barbados right now is 1,200 and you make it 1,100, it might not move people to travel. But if you move it from 1,002 to 800, people might start traveling because it's now $800 and I can take my family with me.
He stated that the government must assess whether the reduction is substantial enough to encourage more people to travel.
So it's still early days. We will see how it works out. and then we'll assess whether we need to have an even deeper reduction in the taxes to cause more people to travel.
And that's the way it is. I'm Dominic Kalipersad from all of us at Team 6. Have a productive week ahead. Good night.